saw that. Okay, this is the right one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the DCU Experience. What you just saw, you didn't. And today, it's just the three of us. Just the three of us. We can make it if we try. Just the three of us. True, Crisis, and I. Yeah, we brought it home and we nailed it. I had the wrong microphone on. I just switched it to the right one, so I should sound way better now and not like I'm in a liminal space, a hallway, an empty, mine shaft or something like that. We're back and better than ever with more DC news. Brainiac, James Gunn in shambles, Wonder Woman, ? All these and more coming your way. But gentlemen, how are you feeling, Crisis? How you been since the last time we saw you? It looks like you have a red sniper dot on your neck. Are you okay? Is somebody coming for you? Okay, it's the microphone. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I noticed. I noticed long ago.
Okay. I just now am picking up on that, but yeah, how are you?
No, I've been doing good. Been working hard. Been putting out more shorts.
I saw that on TikTok. I've been TikToking it up myself recently, but yeah, it's
so gonna be making some shorts here between major uploads, and then also migrating that to TikTok to hopefully get some extra attention. But that's been a lot of fun because every day I get some little rabbit hole that not all of these ideas or storylines that I'm reminded of or dig deeper into warrant a full video. But it is still, I think, worth engaging with the audience on some of these topics. So that's sort of been my latest venture. But otherwise, it's a Wednesday, so there are a few new comics. I'm going to be talking about those on my stream. That should be basically right after this one on my channel. I'll be streaming. But otherwise, as far as the DCU, there's just been a little couple crumbs here and there awaiting, I guess, Lanterns and then Supergirl. Let's have that backwards. But otherwise, just been chilling. Same old, same old.
Let's go. True, how about yourself? I know you're smiling like an evil villain. All of a sudden, you looked directly in the camera and smirked like Jarvis. Obliterate this man's entire existence type look at the camera. How are you? I'm scared.
I was having a great week. I was having a real good week, and then this, I wake up, Crisis DMs him. What could he possibly be at DMing me about? And he was like, "Man, the DCU's over." I was like, "What do you mean the DCU's over?" And he sent me this tweet. I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. Your goat's already watched one movie." And I was like, "Okay, it makes sense. This shit's so done." But yeah, we'll talk about that whenever we get.
Let's talk about it right now. You brought it up, man. Tell the people what the heck is going on.
So I sent a thread post to clarify True's little insight there. I sent a thread post randomly. I don't really, I'm not a threadser. I'm not really browsing the thing. I know it's probably counterproductive to the show here because it seems to be these are the smoke signals that James sends up in the air is threads exclusively. But so just randomly open it and I see James Gunn. I don't know what he's quote threading. I don't know what the term is here, but he's sort of commenting onto a YouTube video.
Sure.
That I haven't watched. Don't know what it's talking about, but it's about Brainiac. Some kind of video essay about Brainiac, and he responds to it. This is exactly what James Gunn himself said recently on Threads. Great video. Yes, the Brainiac stuff is cool. Don't read too much into that part of me reposting. But what I love is, and then he shouts out the person who made the video, talking about fandom flanderization and how many fans believe some aspect of a character is the only quote-unquote true version, usually dependent on what they first came upon the stories. Think yellow oval on Batman's chest, all-powerful Superman, Wonder Woman made from clay, and how that potentially diminishes our enjoyment of stories outside of what we expect. So I guess to break this down, and then I'll tee it up for True, but, flanderization, I believe its origin is in The Simpsons, right? About how there's a character, there's Flanders, and he, was multifaceted at one point, but then he sort of became like, it just self-regurgitates endlessly, like his core tenet, his core traits as a character they just sort of have a feedback loop until that's all that's left, right? Until the character is just sort of a parody, a shallow parody of what they originally were. And he's sort of extrapolating that, connecting it to DC, and saying that a character can become flanderized dependent on the respective viewer, reader, audience, based on their first exposure to a character. So yellow oval on Batman's chest, that's interesting because, I guess he's saying for some people that's their pure, because a lot of people have been asking James, what's Batman going to look like? For whatever reason, character designs, that's the first, I guess, in a big way that informs the tone of the movie. So maybe that's like the biggest thing we could ask for to sort of get a sense of what we're, expecting here. Can we see a costume? And so he's kind of saying, I don't know, a lot of these seem like in his mind, we're not going to be doing these things, right? The way that he's framing it. And then all powerful Superman, that's something that we know for a fact he sort of leaned away from with his Superman movie. He's made a bunch of statements about how, he is super powerful. He's incredibly strong, but someone like Green Lantern can put up a fight. Someone like Guy Gardner, is not totally a world away from Superman physically. And, his Superman can't reverse time or punch planets apart. These are all direct quotes from James Gunn about his version of Superman. And then he talks about Wonder Woman made from clay. So with the all-powerful Superman, it seems like based on this alone, we will not be getting yellow oval on Batman's chest. It's yet to be seen. James Gunn did not want trunks on Superman, but David Cornsweet convinced him. So that's an example of character design sort of not going into James's camp or whatever. But this Wonder Woman made from clay thing. Now, we've talked with True, I believe it might have been in one episode, but especially off air about the nature of Wonder Woman's origin. How important is it to her character? We've talked about MCU Spider-Man. I know I have a little bit about how if you don't do a particular origin, it can kind of misdirect or throw the whole arc of the character out of whack, in a lot of ways, especially in these cinematic interpretations. But I guess that's where I would tee it up for True, the Wonder Woman stand, the Wonder Woman head. And so how do you feel about what he's saying here about Wonder Woman being made from clay? Is fandom flanderization about how we're probably not going to be seeing that, and what that means for the future of live action Wonder Woman? And then also don't forget to mention Cersei losing in Creature Commandos.
Don't trust me, I will. So
okay, yeah,
there's a thing with Gunn. I think usually you can tell he's been around in the comics community for a while, and he kind of knows what he's talking about. But there's also another thing where when people are in comics, you can only read so much. So you'll have a lot of knowledge on a couple of topics, but not much on the others. And I think this goes to show here, because to say that Wonder Woman clay origin is flanderization is like, I think when I hear that, you are someone who's only started reading comics within the last 10 years-ish. So Wonder Woman's been around for 85 to 80, 86, 87 years now. Okay, cool. The first time Zeus was used as an origin, and it wasn't her clay origin, was in 2011. So how, when this character has had that origin for 70 years, how is this then flanderization? And every single Wonder Woman writer, so when I say Wonder Woman, I'm talking about people that were writing Wonder Woman pre-New 52, people like Rucker, they always reference that back. And then we have people like King also bring that back. So like...
in the most recent run, they reaffirm the clay origin.
Yeah. So it is a strange thing to me, because people say, oh, her origins get changed all the time, XYZ. And I'm like, okay, that's just not true. That is a weird lack of knowledge on people's part. So Golden Age Wonder Woman is pretty much the exact same story as modern. There's like a couple of things, like the gods are slightly different, which gods specifically amped her, but it is the Amazons. Hercules attacks the Amazons leave, she makes the clay doll, has her daughter. That is pretty much one-to-one. Then the only thing that's a little bit different in the Silver Age, the origins of the Amazons is a little bit different. They are regular women who then get amped later on, and Hippolyta is the daughter of Ares. We actually don't know
the souls of like women who have suffered some sort of
So
grievous
that was
abuse.
post-crisis. That was the post-crisis stuff.
Okay.
So the Silver Age stuff, they were just actually basically like women, except for Hippolyta, who was the daughter of Ares/Mars, because they were using Mars back then as well. So, and in this origin, in Silver Age, she has her daughter. So the issue starts with her. She just has a daughter, and we have no idea how she gets this daughter. And then all the gods come down and amp her daughter. And then in post-crisis and up to 2011, it's back to the clay one that everybody knows. So then my question is, why would you try to use origins from the Silver Age? So one of the things about the Silver Age is Wonder Woman was quite popular Golden Age. Silver Age stuff was for people. So you have a couple of Wonder Woman fans. You had modern fans and old fans. Old fans pretty much all hate the Silver Age stuff. That's the Mog era stuff. There's a lot of the stuff that her popularity dropped off drastically.
Wasn't that like when she didn't have powers and she was wearing like the white jumpsuit?
Yeah, that was the Mog era stuff, yes. So why would you take... So if you want to appeal to old fans, why would you take something that they don't like, right? So then you're only trying to use the origins from New 52 that Wonder Woman fans also don't like. So you are going to use an origin from a story that the people that like Wonder Woman don't want you to use. Either modern fans or old fans. It is so mind-bogglingly stupid that it annoys me, because I'm just like, okay, how do you misread a character and what the fans want so much? Because there's a lot of justifications about narrative and things like that, but the main thing there's two main points that annoy me. It is simply fucking boring. Let's be honest. The Zeus daughter's origin is just boring. Like in comparison to being like made by clay, which is a extremely unique origin, right? Versus, and then we know why they want to do this. It's because if she's the daughter of Zeus, you can do all these typical like Greek stories of, oh, she's a daughter of Zeus and now she'll have family troubles. I don't care. I've seen this. I've seen Hades, God of War, Blood of Zeus, Percy Jackson. I've seen a million stories of this. I don't want to see... That's not a Wonder Woman story. She's a character in Greek myths, sure, but she's not the same as those guys. And it's frustrating because a lot of the non-Wonder Woman writers, when they get a Wonder Woman, they try to remove all the unique things from her. Like her arsenal for the longest time, for 70 years, was lasso, gauntlets, tiara. Who else has that set of gear in fiction? Literally nobody else, right? And then you randomly give her a sword and shield for... Why does she need a shield if she has a gauntlet? It's annoying to me because this always happens with Wonder Woman, where you have a set of writers who understand the character and set the base. You then have new writers come in. They have their own ideas without looking at what those old writers did, the writers that people like the character for, and they start changing things. And that really annoys me with Gunn, because I don't have any motivation to be like, man, I'm really excited for this. I actually don't care at this point. I'm going to be honest.
Bro,
right? The only thing that's kind of saving me is the fact that King is there. Now, if for some, sis, yeah. So, but he has asserted a couple of things. He was the one that said, okay, no more sword and shield, and also the clay origins is and he's actively using her tiara and things more than a lot of other writers. I'm like, okay, cool. So hopefully he can like finagle his way into saying, hey, don't be a moron. Yeah. Right? But yeah, I think I can let you guys respond.
I think you are crazy overreacting to this post. Like, insanely overreact. First of all, I don't even know what the reference to flanderization is in like the video. I haven't watched the video that James Gunn is quoting here, but flanderization has nothing to do with what he says after that. So I'm not sure what that person is even talking about. But what James Gunn is saying, I 100% agree with. People will get attached to these things that are part of a character's origin or part of a character's story or something that they like, and then if it's different at all, they fucking lose their minds and it's over. I 100% agree with him. Artists should be able to play with the character stories and tell a story they want to tell. That's just my opinion. Comics are a little bit different because they're being passed from writer to writer and writer. You should try to respect the previous writer's work at the very least. And if it's a fan favorite, it becomes part of like the deep canon and it's inexorable from the character, then sure. But I think especially for an adaptation that is not a comic book, you have more liberty to do what you want. I used to be in you have to do a comic accurate. I want a comic accurate. But then I've been given so many different films that were not comic accurate that blew my mind. I've completely changed on this mode of thinking. I just think you're putting your character in a box too much. You're putting your writers and the creatives in a box too much. You love the Wonder Woman from the comics. She's there. She's there for you. You're going to get an adaptation into the films. That's just what it is, and that's what it's always going to be, and we're never going to get a one-to-one recreation. I don't think we've ever gotten that, and I don't think we ever will.
So there's two things, right? I'm not asking for a one-to-one creation. There are certain aspects of these characters that we like to see, and then you can build up your own foundation afterwards. And if you're going to change them fundamentally, you have to understand the character a lot. So I'll bring up Absolute Wonder Woman. We don't know her origins. She might not be clay, but the way that Kelly Thompson has built the character, right? She understands it, so she's able to change the things around and still have Wonder Woman fans accept it. But when you are saying that the clay origin is a flanderization or something that fans have got too attached to, I don't trust you, right? Because the question is, as somebody that likes Wonder Woman, why would I ever trust DC? What happened to the Wonder Woman game?
Okay, I get your frustration.
No. Wait. What happened to the Wonder Woman animated show? Crisis, remember that DM I told you about Dan Didio not wanting Wonder Woman in New Frontier?
I know all about Dan Didio, buddy.
Right?
Don't worry.
like the idea that I can understand for certain aspects, but the idea is this is a thing that consistently happens to this character. You have the group of writers that know what they're doing, and then you have people come in and change things because they don't like that. They don't like it. Then don't write the character. I'd rather her not be in the DCU than have a Zeus origin. That's the point I'm at, because it's not just this. The thing that's going to happen is, because for characters like Batman and Superman, you can have like you can have something that's pretty drastically different go mainstream and people won't really care, right? But like if she has the Zeus origin in DCU, they're going to have that they're going to change it back in the comics, and then they're going to change in every other media, every little game that she shows up in, it would be the Zeus origin again. And I truly despise that, because it feels
I think that is a good point in the broader, because I think if you look at the history of comic book movies, something like Batman '89, that's a beloved movie to a lot of people, and it does play with the origin. We would say that Crime Alley, Joe Chill, I think all three of us as comic book fans would say those are sort of core tenets. Those you can't really. We would rather those things not be altered in the Batman mythos. And while they didn't go as far to retcon that, I think in that era in the comics, I think that was sort of near like 0 Hour, where they sort of reestablished that Bruce did not know who killed his parents. That's something that I believe 0 Hour amended, that it was a mystery again, that he didn't know it was Joe Chill, because up until then he knew for a fact. So maybe you could say that was actually an influence of the movie at the time, changing the origin, altering it, because these things, they have ripple effects, they have unintended consequences, and I think that is a good point, because as well, you look at the Joker movie. I just don't know if there are many examples of movies that truly alter the core tenets of a character. I feel like we could go down the list and say, in principle, you could maybe alter it and stick the landing if, True said, you understand the core tenets and you're knowingly, because if a good cover song, right, you have to understand the original. Otherwise it is just tone deaf. Literally, that's what it will result in. It will be tone deaf. I don't know if a comic book movie has changed the origin, changed one of these core tenets, and stuck the landing in a way that isn't because Joker 2, the first Joker movie, they're like, this is our origin, this is Arthur Fleck. And then by the second movie, which you kind of can't, you can subjectively ignore it and look at the first movie as a self-contained thing, exploration of this character. Yeah. But by the second go around, the same crew were like, well, actually, this isn't the Joker. This is just Arthur, and Joker comes across later. So it's hard to ignore that even those guys are like, we're not really changing Joker's origin. You know, this is just some guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know, you look at like Man of Steel, and some of the changes they made there, not so much to the origin per se in like the strictest of terms. I think we've also talked about this depending on the character we're talking about. But yeah, I would say as well, if the commonality between all of these Wonder Woman origins that seems to really only have been changed in the New 52, I think that would be kind of weird if James Gunn just said, no, we're not doing the Clay origin. She's like a genetic offspring of Zeus or something. I think that would be weird.
The reason I also say it affects a bunch of other things is because each of the three origins pre New 52 all had the same tenets of Hippolyta with the Amazons, something happens, they get onto the island, she makes a daughter, they get it enhanced by the gods. She then has to go through the challenge, right? She has to beat all the rest of her sisters. She then goes to the real, and then Steve crashes and she goes to the real world with Steve. There are like changes, which gods, like when does he land, how old is she? Like there are things that you can play around with, which is fine. It maybe make it fit into your verse, and that's fine. But those ideas shouldn't just not be there. Because for example, if Steve Trevor doesn't land on the island either, I think that'd be super weird to me, right? We might have already seen it, but like that is part of her origins. That's like the first man she sees. So why would we ever want to change that for some reason, right? And then this affects Hippolyta as well, right? Because she becomes if she's like being with Zeus, it changes her characterization and some of the thematic value behind the stuff that she goes through with Hercules as well. So like it's not, and if you want to do an Amazon show, like you said, because I know that's been cancelled, we know, you know, let's not pretend that
probably.
Yeah, right. So that Amazon show you were going to do, you're not going to do it anymore. That's like, if you wanted to do that, now she's like a completely different character, right? Her thematic value for her being like a creator in a different sense is not there anymore. Some of the feminist angle goes, and then Hercules also is a very different character if you go down this path, right? But like I said, the Crisis made a great point. Look at all the MCU, all the DC movies, they will slightly move things around. Outside of Spider-Man, which major character had a major change in their origins? Because Spider-Man we didn't see it, right? Mm-hmm. But like Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, these are all like, it's like, you know, you're looking at the same story through a different lens, right? So the events might shift, the exact location might shift, but it's the same story.
Yeah.
So like I guess Adam Warlock's is different, but like Adam Warlock is like a cosmic character. How many people actually even know Adam Warlock's origin?
Yeah.
Right.
And the people who do know did not like what they did.
Yeah. As well. Like the biggest character, some of like the Guardians were changed quite drastically, right? Rocket is a weird one because it's actually pretty similar. He takes a lot of ideas and characters and then twists that. But like the rest of the Guardians are pretty different. So again, why would you do it to a character that's this big? Because whether people want to set the character or not, because sometimes people bring up the Rushmore of superhero things, right? You can argue whatever you want, but at the end of the day, the Rushmore of superheroes really is the Trinity and Spider-Man, right? If you say anybody else, you're stupid. I'm sorry, you're a moron. You're dumb. You have 2 brain cells. But you say damn, but you're not saying I'm wrong. So there you go, right? There's not many more influential characters for like the entire Amazonian warrior princess thing came from her and her stories, and like the female costumes, all that stuff came from her as well. Everyone wears the leotard from when she was wearing it. But yeah, anyway, Garrick, what are your thoughts?
Well, also another thought is, why are we saying that this is what is Wonder Woman's origin is going to be not Clay just because he said this as an example? He used one example from each of the Trinity. Is it because Superman isn't all powerful? Now we're just going to assume that's one. Also, I just think it's like, again, it just seems like a crazy overreaction a little bit to me. Like, so many times I've watched Batman movies, I've never seen Batman from the comics put onto the big screen, but have been absolutely in love with the versions of Batman that we've gotten. And I don't think that these discrepancies and changes should completely force you in a corner where you disavow the character or the movies. Like, if I felt the way that you felt and didn't give the Batman a chance, I am a moron for not giving one of the best comic book movies a chance just because it's not exactly what I want.
But did they change the origin to radically in the Batman to a similar degree? Because that's really all we have to go on.
Wonder Woman's origin, she was crafted by clay and then brought to life by the gods.
Yes.
Oh God, what's the difference between that and?
Well, okay, the difference is because it impacts
the difference isn't that big. I don't think it's that big.
It's because you don't read Wonder Woman comics. The difference is drastic because it changes the dynamics she has with the gods, and it also changes the dynamic her mother has with her and the gods and the rest of the Amazons. It is a massive difference.
What is the tangible difference between those two? Being brought to life by the gods in the literal sense, and being brought to life in the gods through however Zeus brings her to life as his daughter. What is the tangible difference between those two things?
She's like the biological child of Zeus in the New 52.
Could you not just argue that she's the biological daughter of all the gods that gave her life?
If you want to make that argument, that's fine.
She's like the Adam and Eve of the Greek mythology, because if you want to make that parallel, God creates Adam and Eve in the same exact way that Wonder Woman is created. Are Adam and Eve not children of God, and all of their offspring not children of God? Isn't it the same thing? I'm going to ask you
a question with that's a bit different then. Why do you think it makes sense to have to defend wanting a character's origin?
I'm just saying the origin isn't that different.
I think it is drastically different, but it's also the question is, let's say if we talk about Superman's origin, right? Let's say instead of it being like Krypton blows up, let's say Superman was actually a terrorist who blew Krypton up, and as a punishment they put him inside a baby's. It's the exact same thing. It doesn't make bro. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. I don't see a difference.
You could say what happened in Superman with his parents is the same amount of difference. I think it is, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, I know you do, but then again, you don't read Wonder Woman comics and not a fan, which is why I hate it, right? Because it's there's a lot of value to. I like old comics. I like keeping things that are the way they are. I don't understand the idea of just changing something to change it, right? Because
they're not changing it to change it. They're changing it to tell a different story.
Yeah, but that's not Wonder Woman's story,
you just don't like the story that they're telling. Wait,
but is that Wonder Woman's story? Is Wonder Woman's story about having Greek relationships with the gods in the same way as Kratos or like the people from Hades?
You don't even know if that's going to be a major part of the story. We got that origin in the DC Extended Universe, being Zeus's daughter, and we literally got none of what you just said.
But we
happened
got one movie. But we got one movie.
We got two movies.
No, well, let's be reasonable here.
We got two movies, and she was in other films, and she was in the
Wonder
Justice
Woman
League.
in BVS. She was barely in BVS.
And she was in Justice League, and she had Wonder Woman 2, and none of what you said.
I forgot about 1980.
None of what you said happened at all. It just that was her origin, and it wasn't super important. If we just don't want to say, okay, Garrick, you're not as big as a Wonder Woman fan, you wouldn't understand. If Batman was shot by somebody that wasn't Joe Chill and then
that's not the same thing.
What if Batman's parents died in like a drunk driving accident? Would you be like, that's a weird? That's just a weird difference.
I don't think that's the same at all because Batman's parents being shot by a criminal intentionally.
But what if it was a drunk driver who is like homicidally, like, he's
if
like,
it was
I can't
not
wait to
if it was
wreck
not
somebody,
it maybe if okay I think it would be fine with me if it was like Batman, Bruce Wayne and his parents were in a car. Somebody intentionally killed them with a car. That doesn't matter. It was a criminal.
Is that ideal? You're saying you're fine with it, but is that the ideal that you'd want to strive for?
No, and I already said before that I would love to see the ideal Batman brought to the screen. I would love that, but I've never gotten it. I'm never gonna get it. But the adaptations that I have,
you might get it. Why would you never? Why would you never get that?
Because it's just not it. Because what we've seen, the history of filmmakers, even when you go to like novels and things like that, direct adaptations from books that everybody wants it to be like a one-to-one. Like you take Stephen King's It, for example. So many different screenwriters have touched that story and just changed. You're never going to get it one-to-one. It's just the people, the creatives that are writing the script and the creatives that are directing the movie, the people that are making the costumes even, the people that are doing character design, set design. They want to design things. They want to create. They don't want to just microwave somebody else's meal that is already been created. It's just never going to happen.
Would your ideal, though, you're saying your ideal is to be as close to the source as possible. That's your ideal. So, but I understand as well, though, that it is an adaptation, so you're going to get changes, right? Would you rather those changes come from simply the adaptation process, or would you say, I will settle for oblique changes that they're intentionally making? Because the case that Shrew is saying is a constant across every era is the Clay origin, except for specifically the New 52, which everyone disdains. Wonder Woman was radically changed, as were most characters. Obviously, we know as comic readers that many of the changes in the New 52 across all the characters were like weird and uncomfortable, and it was only a few years later before they were like, let's just do Rebirth and just sort of soften all the weird harsh edges of the New 52. And then now it might as well as be as if it never happened, in terms of continuity. So that's my question is I understand being fine with, like, you know, you read Batman Year One, and you know, certain elements of that, and you go to make the Batman, right? Or Long Halloween, you know, every freaking Batman movie is inspired by like the same 3 books,
right?
But you go to make that and you're like, we're trying as hard as we can, but we had to fit in a 3-act structure, so we're going to have to truncate this material. It is a translation, but we're going to try to stick as close to it as possible. To me, I find that much more acceptable. And maybe it is a matter of just intent, and the actual practical application of it might not be that distinct. But I would prefer you go in with that mindset instead of, at least the way True has, I think, effectively characterized it, as arbitrarily picking the least ideal origin for seemingly no concise reason. And you can say that's, maybe it's just they want creative freedom, but you yourself said the ideal is to strive toward, you know, comic accuracy. So
I also just want to make another point. You said that people want to create things, they don't want to reheat it. If they gave her a completely different origin where she's an alien from space, I would be more willing to accept that than I am to accept the Zeus. Because she's got 4 different origins. So she's been given 4 different origin stories at points in time. Only one of them is the Zeus one. So at the end of the day, if they use the Zeus one, they're still just reheating somebody else's food, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're only mentioning the Zeus one. Sorry, but we're only mentioning the Zeus one because that's just the one you decided to mention. James Gunn doesn't mention that at all.
But she has 2 origins, Clay or Zeus.
But it could be a totally new one, I think, is Garrick's point.
I think the change could be tantamount to Spider-Man and the Raimi trilogy having organic webbing compared to making his own web shooters. It ultimately doesn't matter. There's 3 of the greatest superhero movies ever made, and the web slingers ultimately don't matter. Would I love him to have created them himself? Yes. But it literally doesn't change how good those movies are. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. I don't think there's any point in getting so worked up and like upset about it if it's changed without seeing it. Like you're saying,
I think True will be there day one no matter what. I think True will be there no matter what.
He's saying he's not going to go. I don't know. I'm worried.
I'm going to say if like we get the trailer and it is the Zeus origin, I would be hard pressed to go.
The first scene in the trailer is Zeus, bah.
Yeah,
throwing a lightning bolt from the sky.
Truly, like I think you might, because it's not, because the moment I saw that, I might like, it'd be hard for me to stay as a DC fan in that way, because
wow, man.
No, you have to understand. When you like a character and then the way that everybody perceives them is based on New 52 and Injustice, it is frustrating, right? It is so infuriating to be a fan of a character with 70 years of history who gets constantly disrespected by the company, right? No matter what the writers, you had people like George Perez quit writing Wonder Woman because he's like, listen, I'm trying to do stuff, and the editors are saying, no, you're not allowed to do it, right? Like this is just been a constant throughout the history. And then the only two pieces of media that they want to allow people to see for some reason are the two worst incarnations of the character, where she's either her and all the Amazons are either sexually abusing people, or she's like a child murderer in Injustice. Like what
The New 52
so that's all we can get. Like that's every single time I see a shot of Wonder Woman, it's like, oh, did you know the Amazons did XYZ and this is what they did to the male children? That they gave them to Hephaestus and he hid them in a mountain. Did you know she actually has like a secret brother? Did you know XYZ? Like it is frustrating, because what's going to happen is this Zeus origin is going to bring all that back, right? Because why would you do this? Because it's ends up being weird to me. So would you do just the Zeus origin, but then have her personality be post-crisis and the ones that people like? Then why do the Zeus origin in the first place?
I think it might genuinely be because the modern audience likes that shit, man.
I don't care. Because
I don't know. I think Wonder Woman in like the armor and the skirt, I like that look. I like it better than the leotard.
Sure, I like it better as well. That has nothing to do with my point. The costume, listen, I am very open with the costume. You can do the classic one, you can do the modern one. I really don't.
But
I don't have a dog in that race.
What's the difference there? Why are you so okay with changes?
A costume change and a costume change and a fundamental way that the character's lore and their personality are not the same thing.
I don't think it's fundamental though. That's where
but you don't read Wonder Woman as somebody who.
But I'm giving you a Batman example where the fundamental is the same. Batman, as long as he's killed by a criminal. Wonder Woman, as long as she's brought to life by the gods. That's how I'm equating the two things.
It's not that. It's not that. It is.
I think there is a distinction. You know, I'm not a Wonder Woman super fan. I'm more of a casual, but I think even just on the surface level, the idea of like Hippolyta, because I don't know, you'd have to say it's if Hippolyta goes out of her way to make a clay baby and then begs for the gods, they're not Zeus. Zeus, I think, is specifically left out of most, you know, versions of the clay origin. It's not Zeus, so he's just not even present. And it's sort of like we'd have to presume otherwise. I mean, it would be uncomfortable otherwise. We'd have to hope that Hippolyta and Zeus had a consensual relationship, and a daughter was a byproduct of that. And then there's a separation there, right? Like we would just have to think of second, third, fourth order of magnitude here when picking an origin, because obviously Zeus wouldn't be active in Diana's life. I mean, it would be a totally different character at that point, right? We'd have to say, okay, she's probably going to be on the island, you know, just her and her mom running around. And so I don't know, it does impact the character very differently. You know, Hippolyta saying, you know, I'm begging for a daughter, and she's this special thing that the rest of the Amazons aren't. She's sort of like a totally unique life form, right? And then I also think one of Wonder Woman's core tenets is that she is an ambassador. So she's kind of she's between all these different worlds. She is an Amazon, but as a clay thing, she's not really. I mean, she's sort of like obviously nationally, you know, an Amazon. That's her culture. But she is, even among them, very unique. She's not a god. She's not a demigod. She gets power from them, but she's not physically that. Whereas in the case of, you know, the New 52 or the Zeus origin that we'd imagine, she would be sort of just a Kratos demigod. She would be as well genetically Amazonian, and then she would sort of be, you know, an ambassador to humanity. But I think it is subtle things maybe that would add up, build up, and then would influence the theme and subtext of the movie in a very real way.
It just
depending
depends
on if you are a good writer or not.
It just depends on how much they want to lean on that. I mean, even if it was like immaculate conception, Hippolyta's on her hands and knees, I want a daughter. There's no men around here. I want to have one, right? And Zeus is just like, boom, you're pregnant. It's literally the Virgin Mary. And she gives birth to Wonder Woman. And now...
That would be awful.
Why would that be awful? She would have a connection with Diana.
You're so close. Because you're so close to having a cool origin.
I'm just saying that the connection... If you're just thinking like the connection, I as a writer want to have Wonder Woman and her mother have a connection that no one else... that she couldn't have without growing this baby in her and literally giving birth to it. I think
her literally molding the child on the beach while she's like in tears is such a much better image than Zeus like magic giving her a child. Like, who can...
No one's saying you're gonna see him lightning bolt zap a baby into her. I'm saying the act of giving birth is much more connective than making a baby out of Play-Doh and being like, please bring this. I disagree.
I think the ideas are different because of how intense the emotions. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think I agree with that because there's also like there are some like.
I'm just saying there's room to play with it a little bit where you don't have to be like,
there are rooms to play with it,
and I won't accept anything else. That's it. I'm just throwing out an idea of maybe something you could do.
The thing is, I agree there was room to play with it. Which gods is she one of the Amazonian souls, I guess, resurrected? There are ideas, but my thing is, it's just a different origin is the thing. The Zeus one is just simply a different origin, as in comparison to like, it's the same thing as what Crisis said, where if instead of it being a criminal, if it was just like a reckless driver or a drunk driver that hit Batman's family, that doesn't have the same narrative value. Like, okay, does Batman now just want to stop people drunk driving? Like,
well, yeah, that would change the character entirely, but this wouldn't change who Wonder Woman is.
True is arguing that would be a fundamental change because I think he's using.
Would it change her character though? Would it change who she is? I don't.
True
think
is
so.
saying, Garrick, you're saying it's possible, it might not, but True is saying historically the New 52 Wonder Woman has a different origin and is a different character. She is fundamentally different.
But can't you write the same character that was just?
Wait, then ask the question.
You could, but True is using the currently existing evidence to say
it won't happen.
Based on what we have, that puts a stamp, a damper or whatever. It hinders his ability to get excited. It makes him pessimistic because that he associates that origin with the emotions of seeing Wonder Woman.
All Wonder Woman fans do that as well.
Really, that's the flanderization, right?
I also want to
just comes out, and then people associate the character with that, and it becomes all she's known for.
I want to quickly ask a question, Garrick. So let's say Batman's family just gets hit by like a reckless or drunk driver, and they write him the exact same that he hates crime. Like, you can do that. Yeah. But like, what's
driving's a crime, therefore will also be.
I hate all crime. Like, no, I guess, bro. Like, you can do whatever.
Why would you do that? Why not just do the cool origin?
Well, the reason why you would do it is what I said earlier. Because it's just the modern audience likes it. It's cool. They like Greek gods.
Then should Superman have been like Man of Steel? Should Superman be like an angry guy just running around laser beaming people?
No, because they didn't like that. They didn't like it.
People don't like the new Wonder Woman either. What are you talking about?
No. We're not talking. True. Let's rewind. Let's rewind just a little bit. I'm talking about Wonder Woman being the daughter of Zeus. I'm not talking about
people that are Wonder Woman fans. Fucking despise that shit.
The Wonder Woman fans are 0.001% of the box office that'll go see the movie. True, that's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. So then, what is the difference between just giving her the origin that people know her for versus giving her some random new origin?
People know her being a daughter of Zeus because of the DC Extended Universe. That's what the people know.
So then, when you make a mistake, you should just keep going with it because that's what people know.
But that's also what people.
I want to ask the question.
That's what people
Should Superman have just snapped Lex's neck?
Because people didn't like that.
People don't like New 52 Wonder Woman.
But they did like Wonder Woman 2017. True, they love that movie.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen that movie. Did they even mention Zeus as her father? When?
They do at the beginning.
I'm not gonna lie. I've tried to find that. I don't remember that being the case. But regardless, like, people like that movie because it was an interesting portrayal of the character. People still don't like that stuff. I just don't like.
But no. True. I'm not trying to argue against you that it shouldn't be.
You are.
I'm trying to save.
Nah, you are.
I'm trying to save us, man. I want you to go see the movie and I want you to like it. Okay.
I want to be saved.
We will drag True to the theater. That's immaterial.
I'm just trying to make arguments that
I don't want to be saved.
I'm just trying to rationalize if this is what's going to happen. And I started off this whole argument by saying, A, he never even mentioned that we're going to make a change. B, he never even mentioned Zeus origin. You said there are multiple origins that Wonder Woman can have.
It's Zeus or Clay. It's Zeus or Clay.
Okay, those are the two most likely, for sure. All I'm saying is, don't give up on me, okay? Talk to me, Goose.
Listen,
Stick with me here. I need my wingman, okay, bro? I need you in the skies with me, big dog. You can't give up on the dog fight before we even get into it, man.
See, I feel this way about the Dick Grayson Teen Titan thing. If they'd skip over,
no, but I agree. I would be on this. I'd be fighting the same fight True is fighting.
No, you're not on the different sides.
For something else.
On different sides, Garrick.
For something else. But all I'm saying is, let's not overreact. Okay.
I'm not overreacting. I think my reaction, based on the history. No, hold on. I'm going to say, based on my reaction. My reaction based on the history of DC and Warner Brothers, I feel like I'm underreacting personally. I don't think I'm actually angry enough now that I think about it. Like,
True is traumatized. Like, there's just a history of
because every single time you say, "Hey, True, why are you overreacting?" I'm gonna ask you, what was the date for the Wonder Woman game again, Garrick? What was the release date? I've been quite busy. Did it come out when I wasn't looking?
I feel.
Do you know? I know you've been playing some games recently. Did you see it?
I updated my PS5 just in case, it's coming out soon.
Yeah, okay.
As a Batman fan, I can't relate, and I'm sorry. I do feel bad for you, though. I empathize with how you feel.
You don't.
I wanted the Wonder Woman game, okay? Maybe not as bad as you and all the other Wonder Woman stands, okay?
No, so you wanted the Wonder Woman game so that you could play as Batman when they have the inevitable Batman DLC that's 30 hours longer than the main game.
True.
I know you, Gary. Don't play your games with me.
All it boils down to is... I'm
correct.
You are right. You are correct on a lot of things, but I don't think they will abandon all hope and just write New 52 Wonder Woman just because. Okay, I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that Wonder Woman from the 2017 movie was just New 52 Wonder Woman. I just don't think that's what happened. I think there were some changes, but the character as a whole was pretty accurate. We're brushing with broad strokes here, okay? We're not going to nail it 100%.
That's all we've got to go off of.
But I just don't think that we're going to gum into this in a Guardians of the Galaxy situation. I just don't believe it. And if it does happen, I'll be as heartbroken as you, and I will say you were right. I will. Yeah. I will.
No, you won't.
If the character is changed,
to be my last episode. I'll come for one last episode, one last show for the road, and then to be you three.
Rant of screaming and snot bubbles
but I'll give before I guess we've spent a while on this. A final point, I'll give it a little bit of positive. Him saying that he's using Historia, and hopefully some of those writers come over because it was Kelly Thompson, actually. She's absolute as well. Yeah. And then we have Tom King over there. Whatever people think about Tom King's writing, I actually do think he understands.
He at least had the Clay origin.
I think he also kind of understands the character. I do actually think he does. His writing is just very jarring to most people, but I think he understands. So there is some light. Him pointing out Historia as like, oh, I want to use this as a story is a cool thing. So maybe there's
Wonder Woman on the ground crying with the American flag in her arms. That's what I want to see. And if I don't,
as long as she was made from clay beforehand, I'll take it.
That's all that matters. As long as she was made from clay
before, I'll take it. The
movie should start and then bookend. It should be.
If she does,
she melts into clay at the end.
But.
She should join the CIA. She should.
I mean, listen, Agent Diana with a white outfit. Listen, damn, I just realized. What if she joins fucking, what's that dumbass organization called?
Checkmate?
Not Checkmate.
Yeah, that's what I was
Wonder Woman and Peacemaker would be.
Argus?
Do you know what? Hold up. Gunn, DM me. I've got some ideas.
I'm just saying. Let's imagine a hypothetical world.
I'm imagining
where you are a huge Spider-Man fan, and Spider-Man, directed by Sam Raimi, is about to come out, and you are making the same exact argument about the web shooters, and then the movie comes out, you look like an insane person. Everybody will be like, this was not something to argue about or worry about at all. The movie's goated from top to bottom.
I will say two things. I think you're misunderstanding the severity of it. For me, that like the web shooters thing would be like what her weapon loadout is. If she uses a sword and shield, I'd be annoyed. But like it's like whatever. It's kind of annoying, right? Whatever. You can do whatever you want. If she had like trousers as for the early New 52 like trouser design, I'd be annoyed. I'd still watch it.
Well, the pants, I'd throw up in my mouth, like if she wore leather pants or something. That I would join. I would join the fight on the side of true if she wore pants. 100%.
Listen.
Okay. Let me change it. Okay.
Because when you change it to be something that's close, the answer would be listen. Even afterwards, I'd still be mad. It's just my biggest point, obviously, is also like just the impact that this will likely have to the stuff outside of it. I just don't like that as an idea. It just.
Well, I don't know the Spider-Man. I don't know the 2000
Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
Big enough,
was he getting organic webs at the time in the comics?
I mean,
he has had them before. But was that like
after
an
the first
thing?
Yeah, after the first movie, he was like consumed by a giant spider and reborn, and he had organic webs. And then around Spider-Man 3. That was like during like the Civil War era, and they did Back in Black where he wore. It wasn't the symbiote.
Iron Man connection.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't the symbiote. He wore like the cloth black suit, and it was like a tie-in, and he was being like dark and edgy to the sort of synergize with Spider-Man 3 at the time.
It just happens. I think some characters are able to survive it because they have enough. Like, it's one of those things. Batman can have 5 dog shit Batman movies. People will still go back and play the Arkham games. And like, yeah, this is peak. Right? Superman is like was on the edge. I think Superman was popular enough as well. It
all comes back to the Wonder Woman game. That's it.
No, I'm not even going to talk about the game.
It's funny you bring up dog shit Batman movies because with Garrick, you're like, oh, as a Batman fan, I can't relate. But I mean, we had Ben Affleck Batman. Like that was the main guy, and it was not the character. It sucked.
Yeah, there was not a single thing that he took from Ben Affleck's Batman, was there?
No, not really. I mean, they killed Dick Grayson off screen. That
was not,
They had all these goofy, wacky changes, and it's like those were severe enough changes that was not the same character anymore.
Insane changes. Okay, let's take the Raimi trilogy. Is this a big enough change for you? Okay. Maybe the spider doesn't come down and bite him on the neck. Maybe he pricks his finger on a needle that has the spider venom in it, and then from there it's the exact same movies from that point.
That sucks.
So I would say
the whole time I'm like, listen.
I would say it's instead like if like Uncle Ben just like died from old age instead of dying from like whatever he died from. That's the difference. You're not. You think it's a cosmetic? Because I think. The reason I think you're saying that is because you believe it's a cosmetic difference. Well, I know it's not a cosmetic difference because it impacts how the rest of the law works. Because one of the major things is Zeus is supposed to be the enemy of the Amazons, right? Zeus and Ares are supposed to be enemies. People really like Zeus, so they make him kind of a good guy, but Zeus is kind of supposed to be like a big piece of shit. And there's also with Hercules as well. And then there is the feminist idea of like, oh, she made the daughter by herself, and then it was mostly female gods that helped her out. That is like an idea that the character would lose with this origin, right? So it might not be like a straight story value, but there are thematic aspects behind the characters that I would not like to lose just because it is easier to make them a more boring character.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, listen. I'm
on your side, Troy. I just want you to know that.
Yes. You're a Batman fan.
Damn.
Nah. I don't like Batman fans no more.
You can't be in the Wonder Woman fan now if you like Batman.
Listen, do you know what? The only reason Crisis is still here is because he also hates Batman. So you know.
Batman, I can take him or leave him. He used to be taken down a peg for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Crisis spends every waking moment taking Batman down a peg. Every video.
Listen, I fuck with it every single time.
That's because everyone is doing the opposite. They're
Yeah,
dedicated to the exact opposite grind. I'm the one guy. I'm the only
you're
opposition.
The final boss. You're the John
the
Wick
Bastion against the Batman.
Yeah, I'm the one guy.
Listen, man, I think we need to put him on a higher pedestal. He's the only thing keeping this company afloat. Otherwise, this
I would
thing would have
rather
been
the company go down personally, but that's
all
fine.
these DC characters would be in the Marvel universe if it wasn't for Big Batman. So you put some respect on his name.
Listen, well, at least Marvel's putting content out for these characters, huh? Was that Wolverine game coming out? You guys saw that new trailer? That was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, they made like what are they doing? They made an Ironheart show. You don't think we would have gotten a Nightwing show by now if this was Marvel?
We got a Nightwing show, man. What do you mean?
Marvel Rivals.
We have a Nightwing show.
We got Marvel Rivals.
No,
We're getting a listen. Do you know what? Maybe send them over. Actually, now that I think about it, send them over.
They've got Disney money. Warner Brothers is being held together by bubblegum.
Warner Brothers has one of. Listen,
they're being hostily taken over.
They want anyone to
week.
buy them. Like they're like Discovery merger.
Netflix
please.
might buy them soon.
Like,
listen. Please have it be Disney, because at least Disney will give these characters content. Because, like, how do you mess up multiverses, man? What happened there? How do you not have a sequel for Hogwarts Legacy out already? It sold like 33 million copies. What are we doing? Come on, man.
You're right. You're spitting. All I was saying was like, Batman's the reason your Wonder Woman comics are being published. So have some respect.
You know what? I would rather they not be published if at the sacrifice.
If Batman would stop existing, you would sacrifice your favorite character.
Yeah,
in comics
I don't listen. I'd rather not exist than Wonder Woman exist.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Because here's the difference, right? I've got a bunch of other comics I'm reading. I'm reading some Transformers. I'm reading some Thor, some Hulk. Listen, I got other places.
Okay.
I'd get rid of Batman. I have no problem with that. I'll take that Faustian bargain.
That's crazy.
Getting rid of Batman.
Yeah. But that's. I don't know. Batman is probably one of the worst things to happen to DC. Unironically, the amount of other characters.
What are you talking about?
Listen to me, Garrick. I'm going to say this. We are both Marvel. We are both comics fans. Batman is a detriment to the DC universe as a whole because of how the writers and people outside portray him. While Marvel's characters are able to all gain acclaim, even with Spider-Man getting the majority of it, right? The other characters are still up there, right? Because we still have X-Men have so much content. Iron Man, Thor, all these other characters still get stuff, while because of how DC is structured, Batman is pushing everybody down so hard. Right?
I don't think he's...
And I don't know how you disagree with that.
He's an oppressive force on other properties.
I don't think Batman in the greater universe is pushing other characters down. I disagree. Well, let me make my argument.
My bad.
I think it's Batman is... What's the word? I don't want to glaze too hard, but I'll anti-glaze Batman. I'll say Batman compared to the
sucks.
I'll say Batman compared to the other characters in DC is so much easier to write and has so much more mass appeal that it's easier to make Batman things that people will consume and that you can get right. And you have to be a special brand of bad to get Batman wrong, at least in like the semi-modern era from like the 2000s on, that if you do fumble it, you're genuinely terrible. But I would say it's easier to get Wonder Woman wrong. It's easier to get Superman wrong. It's easier to get the Green Lanterns wrong than it is to get Batman right. Because Batman is just an easier character to write, in my opinion.
Do you think it's easier to get like things like the X-Men and Avengers right than it is to get something like Spider-Man right?
No, I'm saying... All right, let me rewind a little bit.
No, because I understand what you're saying, right? Batman stories like villain, some random serial killer shows up, does some detective work, does some martial arts, figures it out. Easy stories.
Batman's been the blueprint to make something work for Batman in either animation, video games, or live action has been painted. And if you can't follow that blueprint in some way and change it a little bit in your own way, then you are fumbling around in the dark like a moron. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. No, I agree. But my thing is that doesn't seem to affect Marvel though. Do you think it
does
is,
though? Like, the last like two phases have been terrible. Spider-Man. They can't get anyone right. And Spider-Man, even in the comics, hasn't gotten a good comic for 30 years.
Okay, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about like as a whole.
Reading them though.
Yeah, true. I'm talking about from the 2000s, right? Let's look at the content Marvel has pumped out. How many different animated movies,
look at all the
shows,
live action movies they made in the 2000s that sucked ass. Daredevil, all the X-Men movies besides like 2 of them, Ghost Rider, all like every Blade movie except the first one, like. All of that shit's terrible. The Fantastic Four movies are awful. Like.
But I'm going to say we are past the point where people enjoy them at this point, because if you at least they had content, people knew of these characters, right? If you weren't reading comics, you didn't really know of like the DC characters that weren't like Batman, Superman, right? You had like the Green Lanterns were the biggest thing for like 15 years. We got one animated show, which I will say I do like the Green Lantern animated show, but like. Where is like DC's Ultimate Alliance? Where is DC's we didn't get an animated Justice League series. When Avengers Assemble was coming out,
we got a MOBA,
Iron Man Armored Adventures, right? Like these other characters were able to keep the forefront of other media, even though Spider-Man is like that cash cow.
You're saying because there's not a Batman on Marvel side.
I'm saying we can say Spider-Man and Batman. We can say that they can go back and forth on who's the biggest, right? Sure. But what I'm saying is Marvel is just better at treating its other characters that aren't their single top one seller.
So why are you upset at Batman? You should be upset with DC.
Because DC's being able to be lazy because they can rely on Batman.
Company, like I don't know, you can't
because Batman's so goated and sells nonstop and is just amazing and everybody loves him. That's his fault for being good.
Yes. Because there's a crazy way to frame that. It's like arguing that like there were no good stories coming out at that time. Because I want to ask you, like during the time that the Green Lantern's Hal Jordan came back, do you think Batman had better stories than Green Lantern at that time? Because if you say yes, you're wrong.
Well, I'm not even talking about. But Batman has been like consistently has had like in the main comic book run. There are definitely stumbles and fumbles, especially, even it's hard to say. Like in the main books, Detective Comics and Batman will go up and down throughout the years, and there have definitely been low points. But like consistently, Batman's been like pretty steady, pretty good. Like it's hard to say like Batman has just had like dog shit for 10 years comics like Spider-Man has, right? But there are characters in DC that definitely have better highs than Batman does at certain points. But
I would say even Green Lantern though. Green Lantern I think has been consistently good since Hal Jordan came back. Aquaman hasn't had a bad run in like 30 years.
But I would characterize it like this. I would say this. I would say Batman is the low-hanging fruit that DC keeps pulling because it gives them an easy reward. It gives them instant gratification.
Instant money.
Whereas with Green Lantern, if they did it well, because they don't put the same care and attention. Obviously, they got Christopher Nolan. They made Batman Begins. They got some jackass to make a Green Lantern movie, and they starred Ryan Reynolds. Like they don't like. They don't care. They definitely don't care as much about the other characters as they do Batman.
I will say, don't you think that it's also a creative from the creative's perspective, like Christopher Nolan, Matt Reeves, all these people want to make Batman stories because they are interested in Batman. Right? We need somebody that's interested in Green Lantern.
But that's a self-fulfilling loop because
why are people interested in Batman?
DC puts out nonstop Batman shit, and people pick up on that. And it's also like they read Dark Knight Returns, Like they read Batman Year One. They're not.
And it started with Tim Burton too. Like everybody.
Tim Burton never read a Batman comic, and
for
it
sure,
shows
for sure.
Yeah,
but those first two movies were like so influential.
Tim Burton's Batman made that character a movie character, and since then it's like
a Darth Vader.
Right, he's a Darth Vader tier guy, where it's a good example because most of Vader's pathos comes from the extra material. But when you're making, Ahsoka or the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, you're not going to that. You're just pulling threads from the movies. You're just regurgitating just the top layer of the iceberg. And that is the case with Matt Reeves and Chris Nolan. They're not David Goyer is doing, he was writing the Nolan movies. He's doing a surface level pastiche of No Man's Land. He's not putting fucking Cassandra Cain in Dark Knight Rises though, but he's like, okay, the idea of Gotham being cut off from the government. Yeah, that's cool. But he's not gonna introduce they don't. And even with Dick Grayson, Dick Grayson is equally as iconic as Batman. There just is no debate. Batman and Robin. Yeah, you can't. It is an immutable constant. When you say Batman, what's going to follow next? Everyone in their head, they're going to follow it with Batman and Robin. And Dick Grayson is the most iconic Robin. They're like, yeah, he's John Blake, I guess. They don't respect these characters as much, and it is a self-fulfilling loop because DC gets rewarded by their effort in doing it well, and so they only do that. They don't then put the effort into the rest of their pantheon, at least not the same equal amount.
Even Superman, who should be even Superman has had more content than most of the other characters, right? But I really feel like Superman was getting pushed at all recently with the Superman movie. Then you had Superman and Lois, and you had the animated show. Yeah. Right, those are all very good things, all coming out in a very relatively short period of time. Really cool push. When was the last time Superman had anything before Man of Steel? I guess Superman Returns 2006, 8.
Yeah.
But it's like DC has,
for
some reason, no interest in pushing characters that even within the Bat family, right? It's weird that they don't even push those characters. It's not Batman and the Bat family. It is Batman and some of his rogues. It's
Mr.
not
Gordon, Alfred,
yeah,
and some illusion. Again, the Nolan movies is just some weird funhouse mirror version of Dick Grayson, where he's a cop, like how Dick Grayson was a cop. He's an orphan, obviously, all the Robins, more or less.
Oh, it's the same origin, I guess. What do you mean?
I think
again, same character. He's Nightwing, my goat.
I think the genesis of this all literally just goes back to the Tim Burton movies. There was no Robin in that, and the reason Batman is as popular as he is, I would say, is because of those films for the majority.
I agree.
You had the '66 show, that show was very comic
popular.
Accurate.
It was insanely popular. I love that show. I grew up on it. My parents had tapes of it. It's awesome. But the Tim Burton movies, and you'll hear people the old heads, like Kevin Smith will say this is where real Batman showed up.
Changed everything.
It changed the dynamic. He became the Dark Knight for mass audiences, right? And so many people were like, I want to make my version of Batman after that came out. And then, so Tim Burton did all of this rehabilitation for Batman's character in the public eye, and then DC was like, this is too dark, we need to sell toys actually, and they were like, get Joel Schumacher in. And what does Joel Schumacher do? He does exactly what
they wanted him to do.
He brings in the Dick Grayson, he brings in the Robin, and he makes him a joke again, and now you just need somebody that's going to come back because Chris Nolan came in.
But DC doesn't have the willpower because Batman is easy. Why they don't see the risk being worth the reward? Because
I think you just need a creative.
If you just put a guy in Bat Ears in a rainy city, people
say this also because I think the Titans and the X-Men are one of the best examples of this, where those were the two highest selling comics at a certain point in the 90s. Okay, and they both got animated shows around those same time. What have they done with them since? Because the X-Men stayed relevant.
They did a shitty live-action Titans show, and they made a bunch of shitty X-Men movies.
Right, but the difference is people saw the X-Men, people liked certain parts of those X-Men, and all those X-Men got games. The X-Men stayed within the public consciousness all the way up to the MCU. Right? because Marvel was pushing them.
I think the Teen
they
Titans
didn't do
are
the same with
in the public conscious. Like
they're
to an
still
insane
there,
degree.
but that's only because of everyone growing up with the Titans and the X-Men, with the Titans show.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, what have they done since the Titans show?
Teen Titans go.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to hate on that because that's for a younger generation. Let me not hate.
Capitalized, yeah, for sure.
And how like the thing is, the X-Men now, I would say, are like one of the biggest teams. People are chomping at the bit for them to show up in the MCU.
They've always been.
But it's still not the same level as Batman. Like I think
what I'm saying is like outside of their top one, because obviously Spider-Man is still top one, right? But what I'm saying is both of these companies had these teams take off around the same time period. These are both team-focused books, and look at where we are now with these two teams, where people remember them from their childhood, but then people also remember the X-Men from their teenage years and also from being adults, from games, from all these other pieces of media, where they were able to capitalize on it, while
I think
DC, even when they had something like that, couldn't.
Is the Fantastic Four, who Marvel
they were never big. Those guys sucked.
They were it was them and the X-Men forever.
In the 40s?
No, since forever.
60s, okay.
60, bro. No one is. Come on, Garrick.
True. There's a reason why when Marvel had no money, they sold the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Hulk, and Spider-Man. Those are the things that they sold because those had the value. Again?
X-Men, the biggest people around at the time. Spider-Man and Hulk. I guess.
And Fantastic Four. They were in.
Fantastic Four was probably there for like pocket change, like 50 pence each or something.
They were all on the same level, and they have historically
the Fantastic
fumbled
Four
the
haven't been relevant.
Four. Exactly, but that's my point. They should be.
Mm-hmm.
They were the biggest thing in Marvel. They just were. And they fumbled them for years and messed it up. Same thing with DC.
Fine.
But bringing it back to the whole Batman
DC,
thing.
what is DC not messed up? Can I, like, legitimately, what is that isn't called Batman, not Bat Family? What is called the Bat, that's not Batman, that DC hasn't messed up?
But the difference between, like, DC and Marvel, at least, like, when we're talking, like, Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC films, is, like, at least... I would say in the past 20 years, it seems like DC, the movies that have done the best, other than the DC Extended Universe stuff, which is like an anomaly that piggyback off of the MCU, like Aquaman, for example, these are all led by people that wanted to make the film and wanted to be involved in it, right? Batman inspires people to make more Batman stuff, and I don't know the reason for that. You would have to ask the creatives. But like somebody like Superman, those original Superman movies, You'll Believe a Man Can Fly, those movies are obviously just as inspirational as like the Tim Burton Batman movies. But other than like, okay, there were some spin-offs that came out of the Burton stuff, The Crow, things like that. You can name a million of them. Blade even is probably Batman.
Cultural runoffs.
Yeah, Tim Burton inspired. But nobody came in and like took the torch with Superman and was like, all right, I want to make the next
Raimi Spider-Man, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I'm talking Superman specifically, right? Nobody was like...
I don't believe you that people didn't want to direct a Superman show, game, movie. Like, the idea that DC was out here, please take Superman, and people are like, I'm good.
I genuinely...
I refuse to believe that.
I genuinely
that
don't
doesn't
know.
Make sense
like,
me.
I'd have to look into the origin of, like, how the Tim Burton Batman movies came together. If it was DC was like, hey, we want somebody to make a Batman movie, or Tim Burton was like, I want to make this. But we did have that. They were on their hands and knees begging people to make the Man of Steel movie, and they also did that with Superman Returns. They wanted Superman.
But why did they have to
there.
Beg? Because with Batman,
I don't know. This is the point I'm trying to get to. So, just real quick,
because when did the last Schumacher Batman movie come out? 1995, and then we had to wait to 10 years for Batman Begins. But how long do we have to wait between Superman fucking 4 and Superman Returns?
And
they didn't try dick between like they tried the Tim Burton Superman.
I'm just asking the question of like those Superman movies, like what I was saying before to finish my thought. I think just as inspirational as the Tim Burton films, but the difference is like Superman didn't inspire a bunch of directors to be like, I want to make a new Superman. They inspired them to make their own thing that like blew up. But obviously the influence of Superman was there. I don't know why that happened. People weren't like, I need to make the next Superman. I need to do this. They were like, I want to do my own thing, but is inspired by Superman. That's the question. I don't have the answer to that.
It's really hard for me to believe that like Marvel was able to push all these random ass properties to people.
What random ass properties are you talking about?
Blade, Daredevil, was there like an Elektra movie? Ghost Rider.
Ghost Riders, yeah.
Yeah, but like you could make a Daredevil movie, but like you went to Hollywood and said, "Hey, you guys want to make a Superman movie?" And they said, "Nah, I'll do Daredevil and Jaws." I guess not Jaws. I was talking about Sharknado. But like, what are we saying here?
Is it just the rights? Is it DC has the rights to everything? Warner Brothers has the rights for everything, and they've had it forever. I don't know how long they've had it. I'm sure we could look it up, but it seems like they've had it.
Warner Brothers purchased DC in 1989.
Okay, so they've had it since the dawn of time, right? And Marvel had no money, and they sold off all these things to different movie studios for the express purpose for them to make movies so they could make money. And the movie studios are like, these are comic book characters, they're popular, like Batman,
they also
whatever, Spider-Man,
they're
whatever.
Legally, they can't just sit on the license.
Yeah, that's also true. So they have to churn out dog shit. So that's another answer.
Okay,
for you.
That's fine. You can talk about. Let's ignore Hollywood for a second. Let's talk about TV shows. Let's talk about animated movies. Let's talk about games. Right? Like, it's not just this one aspect, because people, it's such an interesting thing that people are like, oh yeah, Batman game, yeah, you can make another one real easy. But like before Arkham, people didn't think you could, right? People thought it was impossible for some reason to make a Batman game. That was the prevailing thought at that time period. But that's clearly not the case.
Spider-Man just dominated games.
Yeah. But like
Arkham,
Marvel pushed out their characters.
Everyone was like Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Like before the Arkham games were probably, maybe not Wonder Woman, but at least Superman and Batman were probably getting like equal treatment in games.
No, hold on. Wasn't Superman's last game was on the N64. Batman had the
there was Superman Returns the game.
Oh yeah,
there was like random Justice League games. I think I don't know, man. The ecosystem was just so bizarre.
Because even if you want to say Spider-Man has more games, that's cool. But it's also other characters had games. It's my thing is, Marvel seems to be able to push multiple properties. If something doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. But they're able to push multiple properties and like capitalize on things being popular. Like, what happened to Young Justice? People absolutely adored Young Justice. It went off air for 10 years. There was like one Young Justice game that was kind of dog-ass. But if it was like 3 to 4, like this was in the era where people were pumping out games in 12 months. Like, what are we doing here? This is not
they were morons at the time. I literally went. I had a press pass to talk to Warner Brothers in DC, and they had a whole presentation about like all these movies, video games, TV shows that they were making that were upcoming that we could cover, et cetera, et cetera. They had a Q&A section. The only question I asked, why did you cancel Young Justice? And the answer they gave was, well, we don't think that like there are people in the age demographic are very interested in like a more dramatic melodrama, serious show. So that's why we got rid of it, and we're just gonna make Teen Titans Go. And I was like, that's crazy to me. But that's like the only question I asked. So that I'm on the same boat as you, bro.
because I'm going to say this. If it's such an interesting thing. What position
never
is?
Stop making Batman. They'll try Young Justice to do 2 seasons. And throw their hands like, well, we didn't get young. Well, I think one of the things that was reported is like they were getting young girls, and they're like, this isn't the demographic we want. We want young boys, and we want them to buy toys, and they're not buying enough toys. We're just done with that. We're not even going to bother. Now we're just going to do fucking Muppet Babies, Teen Titans. We're just going to do chibi little, this little nonsense. We're just going to do a little parody show of itself. But there's never not a Batman show in syndication, like. Since this Super Friends, they're like, well, keep trying. We have to do it, but they don't feel that same obligation. Was Superman? Was it Superman the animated series, and it took that long until My Adventures with Superman? Is that the gap that we're talking about between Superman products?
It's I think like if we're talking pre MCU. I think it was much more even for everybody. Batman did get more.
No, that's a lie.
It was.
That's a lie.
It was, and I think it was the same for Marvel. You had Justice League shows. You had the Green Lantern
Justice League show.
Okay.
A Green Lantern show.
The Justice League is the whole team. You had a Teen Titans show.
I want to ask you a question.
Static Shock had a TV show. I'm just saying there was.
How many episodes of Justice League do you think were Batman focused?
I don't know.
The best thing that happened to that show was the bat embargo. They couldn't use Batman. Like,
like it's just like there's a
Batman had more, but right now it's like it's just a never-ending. Like since like the New 52, it feels like, or the Arkham since Nolan maybe. It's just
2008, 2009, Arkham Asylum into the Nolan Batman.
Yes,
that would like. But like, let's say what position is DC in today? If Nolan doesn't do that, and then the Arkham games aren't as good as they are.
They're dead. They probably don't exist. I don't know.
That's what I mean, right? And like, because
they need to get desperate
those two
enough
things,
where they can make something else fucking successful.
I think they're desperate right now.
Not enough. It's not enough because where's the second Hogwarts Legacy game?
Well, if we're just talking like if we're just talking DC, right now we got nothing Batman on the horizon other than the Batman Part 2.
We got a Batman animated show earlier this year.
Batman movies en route. And yeah, they did Cape Crusader. They're probably going to do a season 2 of that, if I had to guess. They're at least going to try one more.
Like, it's just like, there's a thing with, I don't know. It's just frustrating because even now in comics, like, I don't know. I truly despise being a DC fan sometimes. And the reason I'm reminded about that is every single time I go on the website, I'm like, okay, what comics are coming out tonight? And it's like I have to scroll through 5 Batman books before I see, oh, it's a Poison Ivy book. I guess I'm not reading anything this week. Oh well, like it's. Like,
I mean, I get it.
It is hard being. I'm gonna say this. It is hard being a DC fan, and if I wasn't with like other people that were DC fans, I don't know how much I would have stuck around. I like the DC universe as a whole. I just like the world, all the different characters, all the different little pockets and facets,
all the little kooky colors. And,
yeah, right.
We love all that stuff.
But it seems that DC is more than happy to say that stuff is irrelevant. That stuff doesn't matter.
DC would and has, like, you know, earlier True is like, I'd rather just get rid of Wonder Woman if it means Batman's gone.
Yeah.
DC has and will and would be happy to make the opposite choice. So like, whatever, Wonder Woman does, like, just we're only Batman comics now, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the company
that's
is
a problem.
literally
That's
Detective
not a good
Comics.
thing. No one.
That's what DC stands for, right?
Yeah.
It's not even.
Just
like they would get rid of everything. They don't.
No,
like,
I don't disagree with you.
care.
If they could just publish Batman comics, they probably could, and would if they could get away with it and make just as much money. But I don't know. I'm optimistic for the future. That's it. Are you still gonna be shoveled Batman shit all the time? Yes, but even as like somebody that loves Batman, I can tell you it's too much. I listen to the Spotify audio drama, banger by the way. I watch the animated television show.
No,
banger,
you're the problem, Garrick.
But
every single time I'm getting added in the DC server,
what did he just say?
Exactly. Here's the thing about it. I consume I'm gonna say this. The only reason I consume absolute Batman is because me and Chad want to talk about it. That's it. Mm-hmm. I have not consumed a single piece of Batman content that's not absolute Batman in the last like 3 years. The animated show people are asking me to watch, I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't care.
I'm just saying I understand it. That's all I'm saying.
You don't. Because you enjoy it.
I do enjoy a lot of it, but it is.
I don't enjoy it. That's the difference. My pain is not the same.
That is the difference. I agree. Our pain is not the same. We're on the same page.
I read Batman so I can see when the Robins show up. At this point, I'm like, is Tim Drake gonna get a good arc here? That'd be nice.
I can't do it anymore, man. I can't.
And next year, you're getting a Supergirl movie and a live-action Green Lantern movie. Okay.
Yeah, but Warner Brothers are like, all right, we're gonna execute you in your house if you don't hurry up and make a Batman movie. Like James Gunn is like, yeah, these C tiers is not gonna work. We can't do that.
No. It's just like having your verse be based on one character is just so insustainable because it's just like I sometimes think, man. If Marvel lost Spider-Man, it'd be a big blow. That's still Marvel, right? Like, and it's like, damn. If DC lost Batman,
MCU, they built the MCU without. They built the MCU without Spider-Man and the X-Men
because they were forced at gunpoint to do
position.
That. Yes, I agree.
That's what DC.
But look what came out of it, though, right?
But the problem is, if we put DC in the same situation, they would lose Batman, their Spider-Man. They would lose the Justice League, their X-Men.
I guess the Titans probably.
It would be a bunch of shit that you don't want to watch anyway.
Stop. Name me one thing that isn't one of those teams that I wouldn't want to watch. Because I'm watching Swamp Thing. I'm watching Constantine. I'm watching a Black Adam if it doesn't have a
They
wrestler.
wouldn't even get to that until way later, man. You're getting
okay.
like,
Who do you think they're making?
Phase 2.
You're getting like
you can get Constantine.
You're getting like Justice League International. Like Vibe is the main character. Like
and Guy Gardner. Sure, I'll watch it. You want me to watch the Justice Society movie? You want me to watch Justice Society?
Garrick, that DC Batman's the only character worth a damn.
No, I'm just saying you wouldn't get Wonder Woman, you wouldn't get Nightwing, you wouldn't get the Teen Titans, you wouldn't get any of that. Because we're equating it to Marvel's situation. They literally lost all their best shit.
But Thor, Captain America, like these like Hulk, they still had no. You're
not Hulk, not Hulk.
You think Thor? Wait, stop! You're trolling.
If Thor was worth anything, they would have sold his ass when they sold Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four.
No, stop! You're trolling, Gary.
I'm not trolling.
The idea that Thor was not at the very worst, Thor's B tier, and I think you're trolling.
The movie studios looked at him and said, "We'll pass." He was not worth a damn. That's why they still had him. Iron Man was a nobody. He was a loser.
I agree with the Iron Man.
I think people tried making Iron Man and it lapsed.
He was a bum.
I'm gonna say. Like,
so was
but then that's fine. What? I actually think y'all way hating on these Marvel characters. I know we hate on MCU over here, but saying Thor is a C tier, like, do you think Thor is less popular than? Yeah. Do you think Thor is like less well known than like a Constantine? Like, who's Thor? Who in Marvel? Who in DC are you comparing Thor to as a C tier here? I'm trying to get
the gap between. Do you think the gap between Batman and Flash is equal to or larger than the gap between Spider-Man and Thor?
That's a good question. Well,
because we all agree that could make a great Flash movie or a trilogy. Like he could be the main character of the DC cinematic universe.
Pre-MCU, I would say Flash was closer to Batman than Thor was closer to Spider-Man. Now the gap is obviously way different. Batman's way farther away from Flash.
I completely disagree because
sorry.
Especially if you're saying right after the Nolan and Arkham, that's not true. If you're saying before that, maybe like mid 2000s, 2005 era.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
I'm thinking. Marvel but even then, selling their early 2000s. That's what I'm thinking.
What that's my thing. I think
Flash was a big character. He was part of the Justice League. Everyone loved the Flash in that.
Then why can't you make a bunch of fucking movies about those characters and just have not Batman in it?
You can. I'm just saying, like,
that's what I'm saying. That's like you're saying. I want DC to try that. I want them to be forced in that position, or just willingly say, okay, we'll do alternate Batman universe. We'll do books about Batman, but they just won't have stakes in the larger narrative. Like they can be Elseworlds or just absolute Batman, but Batman will not be on the Justice League. He will not show up to shake Superman's fucking dick every other issue.
I think it would be awesome if they killed him and didn't bring him back in the comics.
It's just like I think you do have the perspective that DC is dead without Batman. I do think you.
I want DC to prove that wrong.
Because I just can't.
I think they could.
It frustrates me because I'm like, man, do we really think DC has no characters? Are we like, oh, Batman and the Justice League are gone?
They have the best characters. They have the best characters.
You don't believe that?
I do.
I see you. I can hear the smirk in your voice. You're like, haha, these guys aren't as cool as Psylocke.
Shit on your tongue.
Look at No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I said Flash was better than Thor. Come on, bro. No one's talking about Psylocke.
Z tier lister.
Who?
Thor
is an unknown. Who's that bum?
He was a bum. He was a bum.
What are your thoughts on like? Do you think Wolverine's more popular than Flash at that time period?
Yes, insanely more. Yeah.
Okay. Look at this guy. It's just me and you, Crisis. We're the last holdouts of DC.
He likes
Detective Comics.
Wait,
he likes Detective Comics.
Come on.
He likes Batman. We like DC.
Stop trolling, bro. You guys are trolling. Wolverine was
it's not the same.
Wolverine and Spider-Man and Hulk were the Trinity for Marvel.
It's like that meme with
what are we talking about?
What is it? What's the Joseph Gordon-Levitt love story movie? And it's the meme where they're at the record shop and it's like, I love DC and Garrick's just Batman Detective Absolute Batman audio drama, and me and Sherelle like Blackest Night, like Jeff Johns Green Lantern, Kingdom Come, et cetera, et cetera.
Could DC survive without Batman? It's an interesting question.
We should do a whole episode about that.
That would be a fun episode. I get to hate them all.
Looking at the top 10 comics sold, I would say they don't have a chance in hell. They'd be pushing up daisies because Batman's taking up 4 of the top 10 spaces from last month and 5 of the top 11.
Batman also has more. Actually, I'm not going to go into it. Y'all are good.
Oh, Batman has more, but it doesn't matter. Batman doesn't have as many books as everybody else in DC combined.
That's not true, actually. That's not true.
How many books does Batman have?
Batman and the Bat Family have more combined books than the rest of DC.
Did we say Batman and the Bat Family or Batman?
If you want to talk about Batman, Detective Comics, Batman and Robin, Absolute Batman, Batman, there was like a Batman something night going on as well. And then you have Poison Ivy, you have Harley has her own book, you have Nightwing,
that's not a Batman comic.
Let's leave him out of this. He's a distinct character.
Yeah,
his own ethos and
like the thing about it is
if it doesn't have Batman or Detective Comics in the title, I'm not accepting it as a Batman comic.
Wait, Batman and Robin doesn't count?
I said if it doesn't have
Batman
Batman
and Robin,
or Detective
because do you know what's funny? When I think about it, he has more series going on than Superman and Wonder Woman combined, actually. Because Superman has Absolute, the two main ones.
That's not even
Superman
Unlimited.
Action Comics.
That's not even surprising.
Yeah, Superman Unlimited.
Absolute, and then Wonder Woman has Absolute and Wonder Woman. He actually does have more comics by himself than the next two characters. It shouldn't be.
You in the 90s you had
not in the
Superman,
90s.
You had Action
Since
Comics.
The New 52, at least it's been that way.
In New 52 you had Superman Action Comics, you had World's Finest, or it was called like Batman, Superman, whatever.
Yeah,
outside of Superman, the only other person that had like more the only thing that has more than one book right now is Green Lantern. I love Green Lantern and Green Lantern Cause 2 comics. I think it's cool.
Off the top of my head, Batman had Batman, Detective Comics. He had The Dark Knight was a comic run in the New 52. He had Batman and Robin. He had Batman
Incorporated.
Batman Incorporated. And he had like some other dumb book, but he had at least like six or seven that his name was like he was a main character.
It's bullshit, man.
It is.
Yeah,
I agree. And I was reading them and I was like, this sucks. Like I'd read Detective Comics and then I'd read Batman and they'd kind of be related. And then I'd read like The Dark Knight and it's just, I was like, how is this all happening at the same time? It doesn't make sense. Anyway.
He just has
you read him, which just makes you the enemy, and you.
Oh yeah, he also has Batman.
In New 52, I literally read every comic. I worked at a comic store, so I just read every comic.
Sure, I get
you. Reading it was a Herculean task to turn the pages of the Dark Knight book. It was terrible.
They weighed 50 pounds each.
Exactly, they were infinite pages. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say there are 4 Batman comics coming out next week. By the way.
Okay, all I'm saying is if it was the case that DC could stand on its own 2 feet, they'd be getting absolutely put in the dirt by Marvel if you took away Batman today. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I disagree because that's like saying that, like, man, this kid has never walked before, so that means he can never walk. I'll never let my child try to walk because
sorry, you'll never walk again. We believe in miracles.
If Superman was, he's number 30 on the list, true? Batman being 4 of the top 10 doesn't mean Superman can't always also be in the top 10.
What do you mean? Sorry.
I'm saying Superman is number 30. So if you take
the main Superman book is the 30th most sold comic this month.
How's that Batman's fault? I'm saying if Batman was taken out...
Because there's 30 Batman titles above that.
No, there's not.
Yeah. How
Flash,
wait,
Flash
you
is
just
number
said
10.
You said he's top... Wait, is it this month's Batman or is it Superman or this last month's Superman?
This is for October. DCKO is number 1. Absolute Batman...
Superman story.
Absolute Batman is number 2. I don't know what the hell this is. Mark Spears' Monsters, The Monster and the Wolf is number 3.
Oh, peak.
Wait, no, that's a Batman book, actually. It was about Batman turning into a werewolf.
Shut up. Absolute Batman.
I read it. What do you mean? I love it.
Absolute Batman Annual is number 4. Transformers is number 5. Shout out Transformers. getting loose.
Bro, Transformers,
getting
y'all have to. Oh, my bad. Y'all have to hop on. If you're listening, read that. That shit's actually peak.
The Terminator Transformer crossover.
Absolute Wonder Woman is number 6. Shout out Wonder Woman. Ultimate Spider-Man is number 7. Batman is number 8. Amazing Spider-Man is number 9. And Absolute Flash is number 8. Marvel, DC, Deadpool, Batman is number 11. And then it's Invincible, Marvel.
Man, their names suck nowadays.
Batman reprint. I'm just saying.
15 books called Marvel coming out. I don't know.
That's crazy.
These are all Marvel books.
Maybe DC can compete if Marvel just calls their books Marvel.
Number 21 is a Batman reprint. And then we have a Marvel book.
I think whatever you're looking at, that makes zero sense. That's
Wait, why?
That's not accurate. Superman, the new Superman issue hot off the presses is below a random Batman reprint. That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe Superman didn't come out this month. Yeah, because Superman is usually around that top 10. Because whatever. Listen, we can argue numbers next week.
That's point of sales data for October. I don't know. That's just what it says.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Okay,
I edited the page before you looked at it.
Superman on this list is number 28. Superman number 31.
Okay, then my question is,
it's below Harley Quinn
x
Elvira number 1, bro.
That doesn't make any sense. That's just not true.
I don't know.
Wait,
that's just not real.
I can link.
That's not real.
I'm reading the data.
You're looking at. I don't believe you. He's trying to gaslight us.
I'll link it right now. There it is.
That's not real.
I don't know. This is just the data. That's all I'm saying, guys.
It's just the data.
It's just the
but
data.
Yeah, now, like we got. I mean, even you want to say this, like, okay, does this not support? Superman had a movie earlier this year. Is Superman now like a 30th ranked character? What are we talking about here? What are we doing? Right? Like,
I don't even know what we're arguing. I'm agreeing with you guys. I think DC can stand on its own 2 feet without Batman, and I'd love to see them do it.
Why did you bring up the?
I'm just saying I don't think they can right now. They have to push stuff. They gotta push. Okay, that's it.
They can't push stuff when Batman does well.
I don't even know what we're arguing. I agree with both of you 100% wholeheartedly.
You don't. Because you listen to the Batman audio, whatever the fuck it is
good,
called.
My virus.
Bro, it was good.
It was I'm unfriending Garrick, actually.
Chill. A guy can't have a comfort character, okay?
No.
A guy can't happen to have the most popular character on Earth be his comfort character.
The most popular character on Earth?
Name one more popular.
You've clearly never heard of Alan from Smiling Friends.
Alan is goated, and the Alan episode is one of my favorites. But
oh man, I think
it looked delicious to me.
Who are the 2 most popular characters in fiction, bro? It's gotta be Batman and Spider-Man, right?
King Arthur and like.
Yeah, no. King Arthur's doing numbers these days. You're right.
No way. King Arthur has survived more than like 99% of fictional characters. What are we talking
about?
Doesn't
mean he's popular. What?
When you hyped over the Green Man last year? Green
Knight.
I
loved it. I loved it for sure.
Yeah.
Green Man.
We all loved it.
I'm just saying, like,
the Green Man.
He's not putting up numbers, man. Look at the raw numbers. It's got to be Batman and Spider-Man, don't you think? Out of any
historically,
character.
he probably has more numbers than that. Actually, it's probably some like.
No, he's out. He's getting outsold by.
Why is everyone hating on King Arthur?
No one's hating, but like.
No, it's because he's British. I get it now. I get it. Yeah.
It's like okay.
King Arthur, come on, bro. He's not even real.
King Arthur's sales are going like this throughout time, like steadily, and then you hit like. The 20th century Batman and Spider-Man are invented, and they just
oh no, you guys have no respect for the classics. Y'all ain't fucking with Ophelia. Like, come on, Ophelia. Y'all don't think Hamlet's top 5 all time? Like, what do we?
I'm just saying, you'd be hard pressed to name 2 characters more popular. Like maybe Darth Vader, you could say. Like it's tough.
Iron Man, Darth Vader.
They're not. Darth Vader, maybe. Iron Man's not touching Batman or.
You're trolling, Gary. Don't do that. You're actually
pretty popular.
Okay. Who? Anyway, yeah, I don't know who that is.
Who?
Why'd you?
Legendary Super Saiyan.
All right, I Control F this article and typed Iron. Big 0 coming up. Not mentioned once in the top 50, bro.
No, don't do this to me.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so Mark Spears' Monsters, you think is like top 3 most popular characters all time?
No. I'm saying stuff. There's Flash in the Pan, Mark Spears' Monsters popping off in October. Shout out to him. But if you're one of them ones...
I don't believe... I'm not the same, like... People say comic fan. I don't, like, if that is the most selling book, I don't think I
Number
can.
3.
I'm not the same. I'm not the same as those people. I don't
Do
get
you know
it.
what? I'm gonna have to pick that up tomorrow. I'm gonna go to the comic store and pick up Mark Spears' Monster. I'll give y'all a review next.
The cover kind of looking pretty cool. It looks like something very Chad coded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's picked it up already.
It's werewolf versus Frankenstein. It's very Hulk versus Wolverine type.
It definitely does have like a
maybe
Wolf Among Us vibe as well.
Maybe people were confused and they thought it was Hulk
versus
Wolverine.
Hulk versus Wolverine.
They just picked it up in mass, like, oh, I love Green Man versus Small Hairy Man.
Feral thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's just no way. There's just no way. It's just not real. That list is bumkus.
Find a better one. I don't know. That's the one I found on Google.
I'm gonna put my foot down and say that's bumkus.
That's just doesn't. That doesn't.
That's hogwash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen. Do we have any? What's the time?
Yeah, we've been
I don't know.
going
We did have
2
a
hours,
Brainiacs in the thumbnail and title, and we haven't talked about Brainiacs.
It's fine. We got you Brainiac heads next week.
True. Yeah, next week.
True.
This was the real Brainiac play was putting in the thumbnail, so you would watch.
Yeah. We were supposed to talk about Green Lantern.
It's fine. We'll talk about it next week. This is the great thing about the DCU Experience. We can just sit here and derail for 2 hours.
It's like a comic book cover. Consider the thumbnail, like they're always wrong.
Yeah,
it's always
exactly.
It's always just something that never happened or would ever happen. It's just something like.
Yeah.
It's clickbait.
And you buy it, and you're like excited for that to happen every single time.
Because you think it will.
You are never consciously like, this won't happen, but
Whoa,
let's find out.
I can't believe that Wonder Woman and Superman make out in front of the moon.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have picked that one up. But I wouldn't have picked.
You read it, man. Come on.
Sure,
bro.
when you come to the
you were kicking your feet when you were reading that.
I have that book signed. That New York Comic Con exclusive cover of that Justice League issue signed. I'm gonna give it to you as a gift. Jeff Johns wrote it. I'm gonna give it to you as a gift, and I would love.
I never really liked Green Lantern all that much.
I heard he was racist, actually. Did you hear about that cyborg stuff?
The cyborg stuff,
yeah. I heard about that as well.
I heard he was like on set with like golf clubs, and he was just whacking people,
chasing them down like a feral monster.
Yeah,
get off my set. Yeah,
he thought he was Keith.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay. Oh man,
I don't know.
That's
who
all
to
just
blame
hearsay,
for
though.
this.
I don't know if that happened.
This absolute derailing that we did. I'll take the blame. It's probably my fault.
Yeah, because
agreed.
Listen, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a great episode. 2 hours. It feels like we only been talking for 30 minutes.
I mean, yeah, that's how we talk. Oh man.
Casual little convo.
Batman's
too big for his britches.
Yeah, Stu, give us the ChatGPT summary of the podcast.
3 knuckle draggers. You rage and mauled about nonsense.
Yeah.
For 2 hours.
That's how it is.
T star M space K star G underscore.
Well, if you guys
what'd you guys think?
Yeah, what chat think? Chat? I mean, we haven't been reading chat, but
I've been reading chat.
Oh, okay. There's a Ty Learned appearance.
So somebody reminded me about
who's that
Lego Batman game coming out as well.
Oh yeah, Lego Batman.
Yeah. So actually, the one okay, I don't want to get back.
They could make a Lego Superman game because it's who cares?
Yeah.
Like they don't even bother though. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah. Lego would make a game on anything, and they wouldn't. Yeah.
And it should do well, but they're just like, well, it's not Batman, so canceled.
Superman was a big focus of the third one, though, even though it was like a Batman game.
Yeah, they have to call it Batman.
It was really just like Lego Justice League, but then they made like Lego Avengers, but the Avengers were the hot commodity. They fumbled the Justice League. We all know it. And it comes down to that quote when they were like, our characters can stand on their own. They don't need to team up. And then Avengers came out, and DC has been scrambling for the past 13 years to try and recreate that.
Team up.
Dumbasses. You literally have the Justice League. You have the Justice League. You own the rights to the greatest superhero team ever assembled. Better than the X-Men. Better than the Fantastic Four. Better than the Avengers by a country mile. And now the Avengers are the household name. But I will say, going over like Halloween over this past week, every celebrity is wearing DC costumes. Nobody gives a damn about Marvel. Speed in the Black Flash costume popping out.
Listen, that costume was crazy.
It
that
was
Speed
really good.
Was kind of
Sabrina Carpenter in the Wonder Woman outfit. Megan the
I
Stallion.
did not see that.
True, furiously.
1 second. No, hold on. My bad. I was checking what time it was. Chill.
Megan the Stallion every year, you know, her Starfire outfit last year. Every year she does a DC costume. DC is in the cultural consciousness like no other, and always will be. That's the difference between DC and Marvel. DC is timeless. I don't care how down bad they are. They are timeless. They are iconic. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. There's nobody like them on Marvel. There just isn't. They're the icons of pop culture. Spider-Man's the closest thing, and even then, he's not touching those three. That's how I feel. Do you guys agree or disagree?
If you said Wonder Woman and Superman, I would have agreed, but
come on,
you said Wonder Woman,
Superman,
and Robin.
Extend me
the
olive.
You can add a Flash in there too. Actually, fuck out.
Extend an olive branch to your boy, okay? I thought what I just said was beautiful.
It did mean a lot to me, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
In my cold heart, you know, cracked open a little bit. There's a little light poking through. Maybe next week, you know, I'll find forgiveness.
If DC gets it together, and also like the crazy amount, like we mentioned this earlier, but like the crazy amount of people that still to this day will just go as the Teen Titans, the big five for Halloween is insane. Like the amount of Ravens and Beast Boys, obviously super easy couples costume. Like you have a drop dead gorgeous girlfriend, you throw in her fucking leotard, she's Raven, and you throw some green makeup on your Beast Boy, and you're the belle of the ball, the two of you. So it's super easy. But the amount of people as Teen Titans characters over the weekend, again, just absolutely insane. You know what I wasn't seeing? Wasn't seeing any X-Men characters out there. Didn't see a Fantastic Four to speak of. Well, actually, Nick's family one is the Fantastic Four, but whatever.
I'm gonna say it again for all you Marvel fans listening.
They're gonna run out of good superhero costumes. You know, like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Okay, I just want to make one last point before we hop off.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four were never good. They're not good this year. They weren't good in the past. When people say they were the top team, they're trash. They're trash. Yeah. Listen, you want to get a team of 4 people? Get me, myself, and I in Crisis? That's a better team right there.
Fuck you.
That's a better team up. That's a more exciting team up. Put us in a movie.
Yeah.
3 Trues in Crisis coming to a theater near you. No, you're right. You're right.
Oh, man. Okay.
You're spitting.
Is it raining in here, or is he just spitting?
He's spitting on us. I'm getting wet.
Ew. Holy, got my rain jacket.
Okay.
All right, everybody. That's
enough. End it, please, Garrett.
Yeah, I'm trying. You're trying to get back in. You want to see? You got something else to say? Clearly.
No, we were good.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of the DCU Experience. We've been going on for 2 hours. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes we just get a little wacky and wild, and we'll be back with more wacky, wild adventures next week. Thank you for joining us for Crisis, Nick, and True. My name is Garrick. This has been the DCU Experience. Love ya. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace. There we go. Oh, man.